Hey everybody, it's Margaret with Texas Gal Treasures and also the blog Earthworms and Marmalade, which this is going to be going up on as well. But I am bringing you a fig recipe. Basically, it's how I dehydrate and dry figs for further use in the future. I am a firm believer that, thrifty living and making your own is really important in any way you can. I mean, if you're hustling all the time, trying to make a living, and then not taking advantage of the easy things that you can do in your own backyard, it's really something you should look into because, one, it saves you money, it gives you a sense of fulfillment and purpose, and you know where your food is coming from. So I've always, enjoyed growing my own, freezing, making jams, jellies, and just, not wasting anything that I can. My yard is full of fruit trees, vegetables, herbs, and so if you're out there hustling, like I said, consider it, even if you're in an apartment and you get a pot for basil, you can make your own pesto, which, costs a pretty penny in the store. But anyway, here I go. So I am showing you how I dehydrate my figs. My fig trees right now are in their fig explosion, and luckily we're home. We're usually away this time of year, and we are home, so we are able to really take more advantage of it because we can pick more than normal. And I just want to make sure that we are saving as much as we can to use later in the year. The reason I'm choosing to dehydrate a lot of them is because we have the opportunity later in the year to rehydrate them in water and use them in cakes or breads or things like that, other recipes that call for dried figs, which also, as you might know, cost a lot in the store. Those that we don't dry will end up getting frozen to be used later in jams and jellies, or just immediately made into jams and jellies because that's what I really enjoy making. So here we go. Of dehydrating the figs. Now, cutting them in half will affect the shelf life, but the last batch that we did, it was about 3 trays worth, and they didn't last a week, so I'm not too worried about it. So here's, I forgot to take a picture of what they looked like when they got done, but this is them before. Yum, yum. And I'll take some pictures and video throughout the process. They're so good. Look, just look how juicy and delicious. Oh my goodness. We've got 5 trays going. I'm going to set it kind of between 135, 145, right in there. And then this will go for probably 12 hours or so to get these nice and dehydrated, so that they're not, you don't want them sticky to the touch when you touch them at the end. The problem is that as it's going, I'm always coming in sampling them, so that kind of takes away some of the figs, but that's part of the fun of it. There they are. We'll check back in and see how they look in a few hours. So here they are, about an hour and a half in. You can see them starting to dehydrate a bit, dry out. They're not quite as juicy looking. So they're looking pretty good. I will come back in a couple minutes, or not a couple minutes, but in a little while, to show you what they look like as they go. Look at them. They look so good. I think I'm gonna have to eat that one. Yum, 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 yum. You can see it's about 2 hours later, and they're a little more shriveled and dehydrated. And as you can see, we've also been nipping at them a little bit. So they're a little more, dehydrated out. Not so much juicy, but they're still sticky. There they are. Let's look at the next layer down. So we're going to keep going. Look how delicious they look. They're starting to, lose some of that moisture right off the top. And maybe we'll have some by the time we're done. So about 2 hours have passed, And we have actually eaten the whole tray and part of another one as we've let the day progress. So we might have a couple trays left at the end of this. But as you can see, they're dehydrating out a little bit more. They probably still have a good, 6 hours left to go before they're completely dehydrated. But they're getting there. There's still a little stickiness, as you can see on that one. And you need to get them to where they're not sticky anymore. So we're going to have some yummy dried figs pretty soon. Delicious. Ew. What are you talking about?
I don't like dried figs.
But you like figs.
I know, but I don't like them dry.
Well, they're not totally dry yet. Eat that one.
Okay.
I'll eat that one.
You done recording?
No. Yummy? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What, yummy?
Yes.
Yummy!
Busted. Looks like we're down another tray. So this is after about 2 more hours. There's still a little stickiness to them. So they're gonna need a little more time. The moisture is what will start, if it starts rotting, it's that moisture that's gonna hold that bacteria. So a little bit more time to go. Oh, look at them, they're so delicious. And we are officially down to 3 trays. We've been picking at them all day. So sweet and yummy. So here we have got our dehydrated figs and what's left that we didn't eat. And you can see they're pretty dried out. There's not any stickiness on them when I touch them. They're not tacky. They're all pretty good and dried so that they can store. And so I'm going to take this jar, this mason jar, and fill her up. Okay, so I was able to fill up 1.5 pint jars of our dehydrated dried figs. And what I can do with these is, what I'll probably do next is put them in the freezer overnight just to make sure if there's any bacteria or anything else lurking, which I don't think, but just better to be safe than sorry. Kill off any germs, stick it in the freezer overnight, and then they should be good for quite a while, but I don't think they'll make it that long. Now what I can do is, if I wanted to make fig bread or use figs in another way, I can rehydrate them in water and cook with them. But honestly, I just like to eat them like this. They're nice and chewy and sweet, and they will be a nice healthy snack. So there you have it. And you can see over here I've got a whole, this is our morning's pick. And this is destined for some fig habanero jam. So that's coming up next. Thanks again for watching. As you know, I have a huge passion for saving and preserving foods, and I really wanted to share this with you. So if you haven't taken the opportunity to try growing something and saving it for later, saving the harvest, if you will, give it a try. There's really a huge sense of fulfillment that comes with growing your own and, reaping what you sow, so to speak. Now on this batch I did forget to blanch them first, which is ideal, but they still turned out fine. Ideally you would like to take a pot of boiling water with some lemon squeezed in it and blanch them for about 30 seconds before you put them in the dehydrator, and that just helps with the preserving process. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Try this at home if you've got a fig tree, but if not, look into preserving what you can grow. I know different things grow in different areas. So do that. Give it a try. If you grow apples, try making some apple butter. Why not? It's super fun. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Find me on Facebook at Texas Gal Treasures, and also check out my other blog, Earthworms and Marmalade, that I have with my sister, all about gardening and preserving and cooking, things like that. So yeah, anyway, go out and enjoy yourselves, everybody, and check back later for more hauls. Wait, no, not hauls, but sales videos and more thrifty living. Talk to you later. Bye.